White Sox win. They're on their way to a 500 May. Let's talk about it here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Game show. This is presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it is never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. We are coming to you live from Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. We are here on Monday, Thursday, and Sundays. Well, we're here Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. Depends on the week, but usually you can catch us here on Thursdays and Sundays, and then depending on if there's a game or not on that Monday or Tuesday, you could catch us here on Mondays here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button, and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We have Elly in the chat saying, hell yeah. John in the chat saying, Sox win. Vargas for Pope. I think they found their guy. I don't think Miguel's up there, but hey, maybe down the line. Sox win 5-0. Again, this is presented by Bet365. Hit that thumbs up button. Tim Brown asking a very important question that you should save for later on in the show. Joey, be my brain. Remember Tim Brown's question for later on. We're not asking about Fun Bad just yet. Let's go over the key plays because, I was ready to kill Will Venable. Top of the fourth, this game was fairly mild. It's a 5-1 game, but the 4 of the runs that the White Sox scored didn't come until the 10th inning. So a very mild baseball game. First action comes in the top of the fourth. Vargas, it's a bloop single. It's De La Cruz and Friedel merging in center field.
Merging is kind. There's a collision.
Yeah.
That was a collision.
Well, they merged into a collision where De La Cruz's spikes went, I believe, into Friedel's groin. So yikes. Vargas ends up on second on the hustle play. Then Caro going opposite field, slicing the ball where it's served. The second baseman is back there covering Vargas on second, so there is an open space between second and first base. Caro puts it beautifully in between the second baseman and first baseman, and that's an RBI single. Sox get the 1-0 lead, and they protected it very, very well. Bottom of the fifth, Steer doubled. Lux then grounded out to move Steer to third. McLean hits a dribbler. Cannon picks it up, slips, but still is able to get Steer caught up at third. Wasn't sure whether to go back to third, to home. Cannon's able to get him going back to third base, and they get out of the bottom of the fifth with a runner in scoring position there on third base. Top of the seventh, they almost have a chance to add on more. Vaughn has a double. Sosa has a single. Vaughn to third. You got runners on first and third, but then Rojas grounds to first base. The first baseman steps on first and then throws Vaughn out at home in another situation where maybe Vaughn just didn't commit enough to the contact play. I wasn't really upset about that play in the time because I could kind of see where Vaughn was coming from. Other people were upset about it. But again, hey, you got a 1-0 lead. Let's just protect it. Bottom of the eighth, Connor Joe up against Jordan Leisure. He hits a double that almost turns into a home run, and your stomach as a White Sox fan starts to drop. Oh no, here we go. Will Benson, who replaced the Friedel injury in the fourth inning, he gets walked. But then, on that walk, a 3-2 pitch, Connor Joe, who hits the double, is in scoring position, somehow, someway, thinks now's the time to steal third base. And a beautiful throw by Edgar Caro. A great tag, snap tag by Miguel Vargas, gets Joe out at third base. The Reds giving up a runner for no reason at the bottom of the eighth. The Sox defense was absolutely phenomenal today. A moment I haven't mentioned just yet, but Michael A. Taylor made a great play. I believe it was in the third inning, right center field, a rangy play with a runner on second base. If that ball gets down, that is an easy run for the Cincinnati runner, and the Cincinnati runner didn't even tag up to go to third base because he thought it was going to get down for a single, so he wanted to make sure that it got down and he could score from second, but Taylor's able to make the play and keep the runner at second base. So just great defense. And then, bottom of the ninth, the whole thing you're waiting for with Jordan Leisure in the eighth is, can he avoid De La Cruz? De La Cruz was up fifth in the inning, right? So he had to go through the eighth hitter, the ninth hitter, the first hitter, and the second hitter. Gives up a double to Joe, the second hitter in the lineup, but he's able to get through Espinal. They're able to get out of the eighth inning in four hitters. They don't have to bring in Cam Boozer to face Elly De La Cruz. But you think Cam Boozer, who just got a save in the Royals series, just got his first White Sox save, or maybe it was the Astros series, maybe now is the time you use him, because De La Cruz is a worse hitter from the from the right-handed side. We'll get to this in a second because the Sox used an opener today, but Elly De La Cruz this year as a left-handed batter versus a right-handed batter. As a left-handed batter, a 102 weighted runs created plus, a right-handed batter, 65 weighted runs created plus. And if you go to the full career stats for De La Cruz as a left-handed batter in his career, 120 weighted runs created plus. As a right-handed batter, 63 weighted runs created plus. The difference there, about 60%. He is a 60% better hitter from the left-handed side from the right-handed side. So you'd think, leading off the inning, that they would go to left-handed pitcher who's been warming up in the eighth inning, Cam Boozer. Their idea, I think, was to throw in Boozer if Leisure wasn't able to get through it. And that way, hopefully you have two outs. Hopefully a run hasn't scored and then De La Cruz comes in up to bat, and Boozer's able to get him out in that one out that you need. But again, you don't need one out. They need three outs. So they go to the righty, Steven Wilson. Wilson kind of picking around the strike zone, gets into a 3-2 count, and leaves the fattest hanging slurve that you've ever seen. A complete hanger. De La Cruz hits at 435 feet, 150 miles per hour exit velocity. This is a team that seemingly had the right plan against De La Cruz. They went with the left-handed opener to negate his first at-bat, to try to get him on the right-handed side. Obviously, Friedel's a left-handed hitter as well, but the guy that you're worried about in the Reds is the only superstar on the team. He wears 44. He can hit 20 home runs. He can steal 70 bags. He's the size of Bigfoot. He's not that hard to miss. Your entire game plan when going up against the Reds should be completely around Elly De La Cruz. And this is a team that loves the platoon side, that loves to make sure that they're going up righties versus righties. So apparently Venable just thought that going righty-righty versus Austin Hayes and righty-righty versus, I can't think of the sixth hitter, please forgive me, the fifth hitter for the Reds, but he's a righty, so they wanted to make sure that
Spencer Steer.
So you want to go righty-righty against Hayes and Steer? Like, De La Cruz is the one that's going to hurt you. And guess what? There he is going out and hurting you. I didn't like that from Katz and Venable. I didn't understand it. Most people were like, hey, where's Boozer? And then after the first at-bat, you were like, wait, where's Boozer? Seems like they should have pitched Cam Boozer against De La Cruz. So we'll get to the 10th inning where everything's saved and dandy, but man, Will Venable tried to kill me. Put me in an early grave.
Well, what was so confusing about it was they had Boozer warming up, and we're sitting there and we're saying to ourselves, he's literally warming up for De La Cruz. That is going to be his role. The White Sox have one save this season. One save and I believe 4 chances, and now it's 1 out of 5. And I thought Boozer was just coming in. They were going to match up their way through, and then they moved off of it. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. Like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 cents. Because, again, everyone thought that it was going to be Cam Boozer. And I think Elly De La Cruz was so happy to see Steven Wilson. Very, very odd, bizarre move. But the Sox win, and that's all that matters. Let's get to the top of the 10th. Emilio Pagan is on the bump. He pitched in the previous inning. So he did have a little bit, I think about 15 pitches before this inning. And Baldwin's at second base. He just pitch ran for, who did he pinch run for in the top of the ninth? It doesn't matter. Does it? Doesn't matter. Okay. Doesn't matter. No, he pinch hit early on in the season. Doesn't matter. Oh, Sosa hit the single to right field in the top of the 7th, and Baldwin pinch hit for him. Okay. So anyways, Brooks Baldwin's at second base. Elko grounds out, and then Rojas K's. So Baldwin's standing there second base with 2 outs. Tice pinch hits for Taylor, and Tice draws a walk. And it's very, very close that he even gets the walk, because that umpire in the 10th inning was calling fastballs on the outside edge, called strikes the entire inning. And there's just
he was ready
one
to roll.
That's like an inch off that easily could have been a strike, wasn't a strike. Tice gets the walk, keeps the inning alive, extends Pagan's workload just a little bit more. And then as Irv says, Sox baby, Meidroth coming in clutch and Vargas with the nail. Meidroth with 2 out, 2 on, RBI single to the right-handed side, very similar to what Caro did. These guys know the moment, are able to put the ball in play, and are able to not do too much, right? Caro and Meidroth, they have talked about their slow heartbeats, not being too scared of the moment, and hey, you know what? Has it looked completely perfect from Chase Meidroth? Does Chase Meidroth look like the next Dustin Pedroia? No, but he does look like he very well could be your next future starting second baseman for the Chicago White Sox. He seems ready for the moment. I'm thrilled with what we've seen from Meidroth. And then next hitter, Miguel Vargas, comes up. He's been dealing with an ankle calf thing. Didn't play on Sunday. Had the day off on Monday. They thought if we give Vargas enough rest, he'll be able to come through. And he had that single that turns into a double that ends up scoring the first run on the top of the fourth. So good job by Vargas. But that wasn't enough for your boy, Miguel Vargas. The guy that I compared to the open box PS5 when we acquired him for the Eric Fetty trade. I feel like we have replaced the HDMI cord. I feel like we are back to gaming again. They have adjusted his swing back in Minnesota. And since April 26, Miguel Vargas no longer looks like the lowly, down in the dumps player he was back in Oakland just last year when they were on their 21-game winning streak. This seems like a losing streak. God, wouldn't a 21-game winning streak be nice?
Someday.
They adjust the stance, and just a beautiful job by Vargas hitting an elevated fastball, and that's what they wanted to do with his swing change, was that those elevated fastballs he'd be able to capitalize on a little bit more, that he wouldn't be swinging and missing anymore. And as Irv said, nail in the coffin, didn't miss that high elevated fastball and is able to drive it over the wall for a 3-run homer. Sox win 5-1. Bottom of the 10th, very easy for Cam Boozer. Hey, should have gone to him in the 9th. Trevino popped out, McLean striking out, swinging, and then Connor Joe got K'd. I don't understand what Venable was doing. I would hope that they ask Venable, why do you go to De La Cruz, or why do you go to Wilson there to pitch to De La Cruz in the 9th? I think he's going to say, well, they just had a lot of righties coming up, so if De La Cruz gets on, and we're pitching around him, maybe he's able to, just negate those runners, but you don't want to put De La Cruz on. De La Cruz is a very, very insanely fast player. I just don't think that was the right choice. You should have went with the actual platoon splits. You should have went with the lefty. You had a lefty that you trust in high leverage in Cam Boozer. That move truly made no sense. But the Sox overall played a very, very good game in Cincinnati. There weren't many frustrating moments to this game. I thought that the Sox had a really good plan with Jonathan Cannon and the opener. We'll talk about that after our first break, but this was a very, very solid game from the White Sox. I know heading into this game, they were 12-29. They're now 13-29 on the year. A lot of talk through the first quarter is that this team, record-wise, is producing the same way that the 2024 Sox are. But when you look at runs scored, runs against, this team is much better than the 2024 Sox. They're not a good Major League Baseball team. I'm not trying to tell you that, but this is a team that's a lot more competitive, that gives a lot more trouble to teams on a nightly basis. Andrew Abbott, even though he did have a decent amount of strikeout numbers, the White Sox were able to work him, right? They were able to do that with Reagans when he came back. They're not the most damaging, powerful lineup out there, but they have been able to have better swing decisions on a night in, night out basis. Their defense has been improved. Their base running has been improved. Their starting pitching has been wonderful. The only thing that truly sucks is their bullpen. And I think they kind of showed that today, and it's just a true lack of talent. And this is why they're desperately trying to bring Mike Clevenger, who's never been a closer in his career before, on during spring training because, hey, we're not able to spend enough money to actually get real relievers, so let's try some BS and figure some out. The BS hasn't worked out just yet, but we'll see how that works out. Let's talk about Jonathan Cannon after the break. We got to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. It is the Bet2 app here in Illinois. They are now live in Illinois. If you haven't downloaded the Bet365 app, download today. Use code CHGO365. New customers now get $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up, use the code CHGO365, deposit $10, and place a bet for $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. We saw Gusto from the Astros pitch when we saw the White Sox and Astros line up, and he was starting against the Royals yesterday, and I thought, I don't really think that makes sense. I really like the Royals, and guess what? They took a 7-0 lead, and with Bet365, they have an MLB early payout offer. So if you place a bet on a team and they take a 5-run lead, your bet automatically cashes out. And that's what happened with my Royals bet yesterday. Go use our friends over at Bet365. Use code CHGO365. You can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. You also got the PGA Championship coming up on Thursday. So maybe a little first-round winners. That's always fun in golf. Must be 21 plus. If you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Ray CDJR. Hey, we love Ray Scarpelli and the family over there.
They're the best.
They got 1-2 tree auto dealerships over there. New vehicles are in store at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal during the Employee Pricing Plus sales event. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, lease the new 2025 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for only $245 a month for 24 months. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000 with a friendly team of brand experts. The team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. Plus, since they prioritize affordability, you know you won't overpay for the next vehicle that you need. And with Ray's price promise, you could shop confidently with no add-ons or hidden fees. The prices I'm saying to you now will be the prices that you see in dealership. So don't miss out on the Employee Pricing Plus sales event for huge savings on the Jeep Grand Cherokee. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. And hey, even Elly, our pal, saying we have to get Luis Robert Jr. back on track. I understand the hits aren't there. I understand the home runs are there, but he is on pace to have a career high in walks. He currently is tied for the lead in Major League stolen bases. I don't think that his play right now is anything to be concerned about. I think that it's going to be an interesting market come July for Luis Robert Jr. because he's able to get on base. He's able to steal those bases. He's able to play above average defense in center field, but just the hitting hasn't been there just yet, but I do think that his plate discipline looks a lot better. He got K'd in his first at-bat on just a brutal backdoor curve that, A, is a beautiful pitch by Abbott, but also is probably not called a strike 75% of the time. So I think that his actual swing decisions up there have been worlds better than what we've seen from Luis Robert Jr. Previously. So don't give up hope on Luis Robert Jr. What's up?
As you dive into the openers and Jonathan Cannon, you know what this game felt like? This game felt like a Chicago Bears game in 2001 for about 9 innings, right?
It was 4. So explain it a little bit.
Well, because there was really good defense, right? We were literally leaning on our team making timely plays. Like you said, great angle by Mike Taylor to make that catch. I thought that inning in the third could have gotten out of control. Turns out they ended up shutting it down before Elly De La Cruz got up to the plate. They turned a double play, which was really nice. Chase Maedroff made a good play. And then again, the pitching was kind of like running the football. The starting pitching of Jonathan Cannon, that opener thing has been working for them. Cannon another 6 innings. And then, of course, you're just waiting for that bomb, that one touchdown to perhaps win the game, and we finally got it from Miguel Vargas. Just felt like one of them Bears games.
I know he wasn't on the 2001 team, but that Vargas bomb was a Hester punt return.
That's exactly what you're with it.
Well,
you're with the analogy.
You said 01. Now we're talking 06. Hey,
I mean,
now.
01, 07, 09, 2013, 14. Pick any Bears season. I was kind of being arbitrary there, but that's what it felt like.
I know, absolutely. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Real quick from Brian74. I want to tell you about a promotion we have coming up, but I want to get to Brian's question, and then we'll get into more questions later on. So if you don't have any questions, hit that thumbs up button. I want to get into the opener strategy, and then we'll hit some questions, and then we'll get into other stuff. But Brian's saying when Teal is called up, we're going to have solid catching depth. Here's the thing. I don't think Teal's getting called up anytime soon because right now they actually have catching depth. Matt Tice, who continued the 10th with that walk, has been very good. Just caught 3 runners stealing against the Marlins on Sunday. Has been very good at the plate as well. I think his average is above 300. He's able to walk and get on base. Caro has been phenomenal. I think they want to give major league time to Caro right now, have Tice as a veteran presence, and keep that duo kind of going right now for a little bit. The issue is Corey Lee is currently on a rehab assignment, and they're not sure what they're going to do with Corey Lee. This isn't a team that really can have 3 catchers on the lineup, especially with Elko and Vaughn taking up first base. You want to have Vargas at third base as much as possible as well. You have Rojas, Baldwin, Sosa, Mydroth, all needing middle infield time. There isn't really a player that I think that you could send down besides probably Brooks Baldwin. I think now that Rojas has expanded his play to left field, maybe they think they have more of a utility player in Baldwin. A big thing that Brooks does is bat from the left side as well. He's a switch hitter, but he's able to bat from that left side. Rojas does bring the ability to bat from the left side, so I wonder if that maybe plays into it. So if you're wondering what they do with Lee, because I've just been thinking about this, I think either Lee gets optioned down to Charlotte, and then they keep Caro and Tice on the major league roster, or they somehow have 3 catchers on the lineup, and they option Brooks down to AAA. I don't think it's the smartest idea, but I think that's at least what is going on. All right, let's get into the ball knower bonus. One thing that's coming up is the White Sox and Cubs series. This is taking place on the 16th through 18th, so starting on Friday. We have something fun going on. If you click the link in the description, we want you to go through the link in the description. This is how it's going to work best for you. Click on the link in the description under Ball Knower Bonus, and if you spend $25 or more on our website and you choose the right team who's going to win the Crosstown Series, either the Cubs or the White Sox, you pick the team, that team wins, and you've spent $25. If your team wins, you get a gift card to our shop of equal value. So if you think the White Sox are going to win the series on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, go to our website, place your pick for the series, place an order for $25 or more, and if the Sox win, you will get a gift card to our store for equal value. So thumbs up. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. All right, let's get into the opener status. They said on the broadcast that this was the 5th time that they've used an opener. The time before this, though, was Not Logan Gilbert. Man, I wish. That'd be nice.
Keep dreaming.
Tyler Gilbert.
It's late.
Tyler Gilbert opened for Bryce Wilson. I really wouldn't call that an opener. It is technically an opener, but Bryce Wilson only was a starter because of Martin Perez's injury, and it seemed like they really started to fire off this opener strategy once Perez was injured. So I really wouldn't say you're using an opener for Bryce Wilson, because Bryce Wilson is a swing guy out of the bullpen. Having him with an opener just kind of makes sense because he isn't a true starter. With Davis Martin, now this is the 2nd time for Cannon. I believe they used one with Sean Burke as well. I feel like those are a little bit different. What do those 4 times have in common? First of all 4 of them so far have been on the road. 3 in Sacramento, 1 in Cincinnati. What does that mean? I don't know. I literally do not know. I could not even theorize why they've used it 4 times on the road and never at home. Maybe coincidence. Maybe there's something Venable can tell you there. But the biggest thing that sticks out about the A's lineup and then the Reds lineup. Reds lineup led off by Friedel. You have Espinal second, but Espinal really isn't a bat, especially from the right-handed side. And then De La Cruz, who's a switch hitter, but as we brought up, De La Cruz is a lefty, 102 weighted runs created plus this year, right-handed batting, 65 weighted runs created plus. So he's a much worse hitter from the right-handed side. What you're trying to do, at least with today Eisert, previously Gilbert, was make it easier for the starter. The first time through the order, you don't have to face their first 3. It's very similar to when you reach the 7th inning, and now is the time where the top of the lineup is coming up. They've just seen Cannon 3 times. He's at his 100th pitch. His stuff isn't going to be the same as it was in the first inning. You're trying to take advantage of their best hitters being up and you putting out the best matchup possible. I love that the White Sox are doing this. I don't think it has any detriment to Jonathan Cannon, because Jonathan Cannon just went out and threw 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Do you think he cares that he didn't pitch the first inning?
No. And honestly, he looked just as strong in the final inning than he did in the first.
Even better. Like I think that it's a great idea because you are just making it easier on your starter. You should be using an opener to negate the top 3 hitters, or you should be using a reliever, a special high leverage reliever in the back of the game, like Cam Boozer, when Elly De La Cruz comes up in the 9th. Like, you should be using your best pitchers, or at least the guys that are best for that moments, in those moments. Brandon Eisert, we need you to go get 3 outs. Brandon Eisert got 3 outs. Great. Can they go poorly? Of course. It's baseball. But at least you're playing the numbers and the strategy of we are taking the best platoon side against Friedel, Espinal, and De La Cruz, and then we're also giving our chance of Jonathan Cannon his his 3 times through the order. It's going to start with the 4th, 5th, and 6th hitter, and he'll only have to possibly see De La Cruz twice, right? He doesn't have to see De La Cruz 3 separate times. It just makes sense. It's a smart idea. Cannon, 14 of 22 first pitch strikes, 6 ground balls, 6 strikeouts, only 5 fly balls. So more ground balls, more strikeouts than fly balls allowed, and that's perfect in that park as well. 44 swings for Jonathan Cannon, only 7 whiffs, 17 called strikes, but 22 fouls. So that's a huge thing. Half of the swings that the Reds took were fouled off. Just unable to create good contact consistently against Cannon. 15 balls in play, an average exit velocity of 85.3 miles per hour. Poorly hit balls, 95 miles per hour is a hard hit ball, so 10 miles per hour under what a hard hit ball is. The hardest he was hit was 111 miles per hour by
Elly De La Cruz.
Oh, great guess. Yeah, Bigfoot himself. 92.4 miles per hour exit velocity on the 8 sinkers that were put in play, but then on the 2 cutters, 77.8 miles per hour, and the 5 changeups, 77.1 miles per hour. So really able to be effective with the changeup and cutter and slider, and even though the sinker was put in play 8 times, the fact that it was below a hard hit average is very good, and then 2, you take out the one that De La Cruz hit, that maxed out at 111, that average probably shrinks down closer to 90. So just a really, really great game from Jonathan Cannon. And shout out to Joey Christopoulos, our producer, who got us this stat. 21 straight innings pitched without a walk allowed for Jonathan Cannon. Is that good?
I like it. I like it a lot. When you're getting a mixture of strikeouts with 3 different pitches, you're not walking people. It's good stuff. Yeah, and now I believe it's his 4th start in a row now with 6+ innings. 6 innings or more in each start.
Yes.
Last 4.
7 2/3 in the Sacramento start, and then 3 straight with 6 innings pitched. One thing that I did want to bring up just on Venable on the opener, as we have about 2 minutes before our break here. This is from Sox Machine, Jim Margulis, and also pulling from James Fegan as well with these quotes. Jim wrote an article about Venable's usage of the opener. I think this is back on May 2nd, so give it a check out. So go give it a look. But Ricky on the opener, for me, if you use an opener, it's just potentially a bullpen day. I think that openers speaks to the state of your pitching staff in general. I think most people are solidified in their starting rotation, don't even think about it, which is probably right. Hey, when you have Justin Verlander, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, et cetera, whatever that 2022 Mets staff was, you're not going to use an opener. And I think that the state of the White Sox pitching staff is obviously good. We hear the stats of recently, like the past 15 starts, they've been phenomenal. But I think what it shows you more is just that this bullpen is unreliable. Let's put the bullpen in situations where, they're not coming in high-pressure situations. It's a 0-0 game for Eisert. If he gives up a homer to Elly De La Cruz, oh well, it's a 1-0 game, and we still got 8 innings to play. I just think that it's smart to give Cannon less than he can chew and Eisert less than he can chew. And even though it might be a detriment or a statement on how bad your pitching staff is, at least you're reacting to what your pitching staff is. Jonathan Cannon wasn't getting it done going out there, starting in the 1st inning, and then trying to go through the 6th inning. I don't know why it changes his mind and helps him go out there and be a little bit more consistent, but it does. So let's use it. I like the opener. Venable on opener in Sacramento, and then we'll take a break. There are some times with opposing lineups where you're going to get into some matchups that you like with lefties on the top 3, and then you're positioned with your bullpen to capture that matchup up front and put your starter in a better position. We talked to our guys about this earlier, that this is something that we'll look at. Every day, we're going to be thoughtful about what's the best path for us to win a game and put our guys in the best position to succeed. And on this day, and potentially on ones moving forward, you could see it. It's not about, it's a statement on my pitching staff. We want to win baseball games. The Sox are 6-6 in May. Great. We have a manager who wants to win baseball games. Don't put don't put Steven Wilson up against Elly De La Cruz in the 9th. But for the most part, hey, Will Venable, I like you. Let's take a break. We got to let you know about our friends over at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. We got to let you know about our friends over at Mando. I was just at Target recently, and I was able to pick up the Bourbon Leather Cream Tube Deodorant. I don't know if you gentlemen out there are turned on to the Cream Tube Deodorant, but I don't know about you. The roll-on sticks kind of cause some chafing and irritation on these pits.
I definitely needed some cream tube deodorant after the 10th inning there.
Yes, sir. The cream tube deodorant applies easily, and I feel like it's a game changer in deodorant, mainly because Mando has 72-hour body odor protection. Joey, I'd ask you to smell me, but we just took a course about workplace relationships, so I guess I shouldn't ask you to smell me.
You're following the manual, and I appreciate it.
I promise you I smell like whole-body deodorant. It's safe to use anywhere on your body: pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, and feet. It was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, and this is truly the deodorant that I use each and every single day. I like the Mount Fuji. I like the Pro Sport. My favorite is the Bourbon Leather, but I really do think that this is clinically strength. This is the best deodorant that I've used. I have ruined shirts with sweat stains and pit stains. This deodorant has saved my life. Mando Starter Pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of your choice, like mini body wash and deodorant wipes with free shipping. And as a special offer for listeners, new customers can get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. Use code CHGO at ShopMando to get 40% off your starter pack. That's ShopMadno.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher and stay drier with our friends over at Mando. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Lucy. Lucy is a game changer for you nicotine users. Level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/CHGO and use promo code CHGO2025 to get 20% off your first order. Lucy also has a 30-day refund policy, so if you don't love your order, you can return them if you change your mind. Lucy Breakers are the next level product that you have to check out. They have strengths of 4 milligram and 8 milligram. They have multi-flavor packs and single flavor packs. You could try all of their flavors. They have apple ice, mango, mint, berry citrus, espresso, and apple cider, but they're nicotine pouches. They hydrate and capsule inside, a game changer in the nicotine game. So go to lucy.co and use code CHGO2025 to get 20% off. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Goop Like Soup says, Late Night Sean, hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Do we have any comments? And also, real quick, Edward Elric saying, Lumi is better, Lume. Guess what, buddy? Lume and Mando are the same company. One's just a female product, one's a man product. So they're the same thing. If you like Lumi better, I don't think Mando cares if you're buying Lumi, because they're the same damn product. I think they're literally the same exact company. So that's fine if you like Lumi, because you like Mando. So shout out. All right, what do we have here on the chats, Joey? Take us through.
We're going to start here with, and this is a late night chat right here. The Cubs are not scoring as much right now. Sox got a chance to win 2 of 3 this weekend. And then I think it's time, man. I think it is time for our final segment. Are we in fun bad territory from our guy, Tim Brown?
Yeah, Tim Brown with the fun bad territory question. I would say no. I think that fun bad probably
means a little more runs. It's a little more offense.
A little more offense.
Like
I don't know if I'm having fun. Nothing about this 5-1 victory was fun. I spent most of my time about this victory screaming about them putting Steven Wilson in against De La Cruz. And I know that's fairly off-putting to some people who don't like to listen to screaming. Why would you? But yeah, what was the question?
Are we fun bad yet? So fun bad for me is our bullpen is terrible. We have solid starting pitching, and we are winning some games 6-5 and losing them like 9-7, right? That's fun bad, where we blow a lead, we're down by a couple runs, maybe we score one in the 9th inning, maybe a little bit more balls leaving over the fence from time to time. That's fun bad for me. We're not quite there yet.
I think that they would. It's honestly, it's a pretty tough. It's like fun bad. I feel like you have to have a little bit more talent. This team isn't super talented, but hey, now with Vargas playing, with Elko on the roster, Caro's been good, Mydroth's been good. I think the team would be fun bad if Robert was a superstar. And Robert isn't there yet. If you had a guy that you just knew, kind of like Elly De La Cruz, because the Reds aren't that good. I understand that their record is much better than the Sox. What, they're now 20-23? They're not that good. I mean, you take De La Cruz off this team, they're pretty bad. So I think that's the one thing that would probably make them fun bad is a player that you can actually latch onto. Caro, Mydroth have been very, very, very fun, but I think they have like a couple of extra base hits between the two. None of them have a triple. None of them have a home run. Like there isn't that pop from a team that's like, wow, that is the next guy that I'm watching. Like it's fun to watch the 2003 Cavs because, hey, LeBron James is 19 years old and dunking over everybody, right? And it took them 4 years to get like actually good where they're challenging a team in the Western or the Eastern Conference Finals in the 2007. So like I think that it has to be for fun bad. You need to be watching every single night because of a player or because of something that could happen. The Sox, you don't really know what's going to happen.
I've got a fun bad ingredient that perhaps the White Sox could maybe add to this fun bad stew that we're trying to cook.
Rich Hill?
We're trying to make. Yeah, it's at Rich Hill, 45-year-old Rich Hill. No, it's just like one of my favorite things as a baseball fan in general. Paul Konerko would do this all the time. And Luis Robert Jr. is actually really good at it too. You get to the ballpark, you get in your seat, it's bottom of the first inning, and Luis Robert Jr. hits like a laser over the fence, and you're up 1-0, right? That first inning home run. Something like along those lines, at least from Luis Robert Jr., would be a fun, bad ingredient that would get us a little bit closer.
Yeah, I think that the team will probably be more fun bad next year when you have
Schultz
more
and Hagen
prospects up. Yeah, Braden Montgomery, Colson Montgomery. You're not exactly sure who will be on the 2026 opening day roster. But let's get away from the Tices and the Michael A. Taylors and the Josh Rojas's, right? Like I don't think that these are the guys that you're buying jerseys for and really watching the Sox for. So are they fun bad? No, but I know Dan Bernstein was like the creator of fun bad. Wish we could ask him. Anyways,
I'll effort that.
Ellie's saying, are we bad fun? That's a better question. I think that they are some bad fun. They're probably a guilty watch at this point. I mean, Adam Hogue, host of CHGO Bears, is tweeting out, I have to admit something. I've been watching White Sox baseball recently. Maybe we get Hogue on the podcast to see if he's finally been won over by this ragtag team.
I'm telling you, one of the best Bears reporter in Chicago is feeling some of the Bears vibes with this team. They can't score. The defense is better. They're running the football with starting pitching. They're blowing it in the end. And you're right. Devin Hester's running one back every once in a while.
Yeah, Miguel Vargas is taking one out. Yeah, not too bad. All right, I got some thoughts on the Hall of Fame news, and this is obviously White Sox related. Hit that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. If you have any other thoughts, make sure you hit up Joey in the chat and hit that thumbs up button. I believe we have about 30 people watching, 17 thumbs up, so if you haven't hit the like button yet, please do it as well. Fat Hipster saying Mydroth taking it off the dome was bad fun. Yes. That is bad fun, but then, like, I don't think that game could be fun bad because that is truly something that will put you in an early grave, seeing the collapse of, 3 infield singles and then a ball that's not even hit out, but Robert, doesn't even catch and, doesn't even, make an effort on. I know why he doesn't make an effort because it's an easy walk home, but I think Boozer's at least looking at it couldn't get me the third of an inning. You make that catch, at least I get an out recorded.
Well, the thing about that Mydroth play is that in hopefully 2028, hopefully before, and the White Sox are back a little bit, and someone wants to make a package of where the White Sox were and where the White Sox are, that clip is 1,000% a top 5 that's going in there.
Yeah. Possibly.
And we're going to laugh. we're going to laugh, and we're going to smile, and we're going to hopefully high five.
And that will go in there with the Andrew Vaughn from 2024 running into Gunnar Henderson on the runner interference, the drop play.
Yeah, Talkman blowing a hammy.
Jesus, the Talkman play as well. We have one comment here from Elly, and then we'll get into the Pete Rose stuff. Montgomery has changed his swing a bit. It looks good. They did send Colson Montgomery down to the Arizona Complex League to work with Ryan Fuller on changing his stance. Do we have the baseball bat in here? We do. Okay, hold on. So I'm not a hitter. I obviously know that I'm not a hitter, but the only way that I feel like I can actually properly recreate this is with a bat in my hand. So what I think Colson was doing was a little bit more like his bat was flat, and I think it just takes longer of a position, and it's probably a little bit more loopy to get to the point where he needs to. So what they've done is kind of similar to the Vargas thing. They've extended his hands to where it's a little bit more upright, and then his foot looks adjusted. It's a little less like he's going with that high leg kick, and it looks like it's a little bit more like a rock or a shift of stance rather than picking up the leg and trying to create a ton of power with that front leg and that kind of twist motion to open up his hips. I think it's more of let's just shift the weight and let the bat do most of it, because if the bat's in the right place, that's what's going to, you just want to try to barrel it up somehow. So it's about getting the actual barrel of the bat to the ball. I think that's what at least the swing changes have happened with Montgomery. There was a nice hit that he had. I think it was, his first hit, or first at bat of the day, but it still looked a little loopy. So they definitely have changed his swing. The setup looks a little bit different. We need more video on what the actual swing has changed to, but he has changed his swing. And the thing is, you got to trust Ryan Fuller. He's brand new here, and they actually have a biomechanic
analyst.
Yeah, biomechanic analyst that can actually read his swing and say this is what they're doing wrong. Over at Sox Machine, Ryan Fuller very much explained like that his head was going too far and he was a little bit too early. So it's all about timing, and I think just kind of simplifying things for Colson.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's about trying to take away some of these smaller movements to just try and simplify and get more of a fluid swing. By the way, everybody, if you're ever curious of what a pre-production meeting for CHGO White Sox looks like, you literally just saw it. Sean usually just standing and waving a bat at me. Back to you,
yes,
Sean.
and not with terrible posture, like standing like a third base coach in a little league game, being like, and they just moved his hands down. Like,
it's a mixture of ideas and threats, and also does this stance look good? But that's part of it.
All right. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. We got 50 people here at 11:15.
Boom,
they say
baby.
The White Sox are dead, but hey, the most viewed short in all city history is a White Sox one. Hey, the Pope is a White Sox fan. All right, hit that thumbs up button. Sox win. They're 6-6 in May. Let's get into the Hall of Fame stuff. Today, Rob Manfred removed 16 people, I believe, from the permanently ineligible list. This includes Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson, along with the entire Chicago Black Sox team. Banned in 1921 by Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis. They threw the 1919 World Series, and banned was Eddie Seacott, Lefty Williams, Chick Gandil, Swede Risberg, Buck Weaver, Happy Felsch, Fred McMullen, and Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Hall of Fame names, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Hall of Fame first ballot names.
They don't
make them like that anymore.
They don't do it like the 20s. I mean, Commissioner Kennesaw Mountain Landis?
Yeah, Anna.
Insane.
Ma'am.
The biggest thing about the 1919 World Series, White Sox, if you've seen 8 men out, this is a team that was displeased with the amount that Charles Comiskey was paying them. They were offered a certain amount by the mob to pretty much double their salaries to throw the World Series. The White Sox were heavy favorites going up against the Reds, funnily enough, and they were paid money to throw this World Series. The one thing that people have always held up in contempt, at least with Shoeless Joe Jackson, was that Shoeless Joe Jackson's play in the 1919 World Series really didn't speak of somebody that was trying to throw the World Series. Jackson in the 8 playoff games in 1919, 375 average, 563 slugging percentage. The White Sox in those 8 games scored 20 runs. Shoeless Joe Jackson drove in 6 and scored 5. I just don't believe that this is a guy that was cheating. You even look at his Wikipedia, and there is a write-up about this back and forth. Jackson's involvement in the scandal remains controversial to this day. He reportedly refused the $5,000 bribe on 2 occasions, despite the fact that it would effectively double his salary, only to have teammate Lefty Williams toss the cash on the floor of his hotel room. Jackson then tried to tell White Sox owner Charles Comiskey about the fix, but Comiskey refused to meet with him. Unable to afford legal counsel, Jackson was represented by team attorney Alfred Austrian, a clear conflict of interest. Before Jackson's grand jury testimony, Austrian allegedly elicited Jackson's admission of his supposed role in the fix by plying him with whiskey. Austrian was also able to pursue the nearly illiterate Jackson to sign a waiver of immunity from prosecution. Landis was just instilled as the commissioner. He was baseball's first commissioner, and this was something that he wanted to lay down the law about. And if their best player, Shoeless Joe Jackson, got banned, it was going to be good for Major League Baseball and for the Chicago White Sox because they could get this ugly thing behind them in the past. I believe, what's his face? Rob Hart of WBBM wrote that this was a 40-year stain for the White Sox that they had to work through from 1919 to then 1959 until they end up having the Go-Go White Sox and that great team that I think ended up winning a pennant, right, in 59. But anyways, years later, the other 7 players, again, there's 8 men out, one of them being Jackson, 7 players implicated in the scandal confirmed that Jackson was never at any of the meetings. Williams said that they only mentioned Jackson's name to give their plot more credibility, although he did not say why Jackson would have been paid $5,000 had that been the case. Jackson's performance during the season itself lends to further credence to his assertions, although the game's records show that he hit better during the clean games than those that were thrown. So it's really up to you if you believe that Shoeless Joe Jackson should be a Hall of Famer or not. I understand that the entire Black Sox were dirty, that this is a team that took money from the mob. I'm not trying to defend the Black Sox because they are the Chicago White Sox team, right? They're a part of that 125-year history. I just think Shoeless Joe Jackson is somewhat of a sympathetic character. I don't know if Shoeless Joe Jackson knew what was fully going on. I don't think Shoeless Joe Jackson had a true understanding of the politics that was going on. This seemed like a guy that liked to roll out of bed and play baseball and really didn't understand the entire severity of what was going on. Some people have said that that's a little bit, naive of me, but just think of the true education jump from 1919 to 1959. Like, when you're talking about Barry Bonds not being elected into the Hall of Fame as he is home run, or Major League Baseball's home run king leader, whatever. This is a guy that grew up with a baseball dad. That's freaking godfather is Willie Mays, right? Like, this is somebody that understands baseball, understands ramifications, understands the previous history before him. He still chose to take steroids to grow his head, something that only Andre the Giant was able to do with his giantism. Like, the human head just doesn't grow without human growth hormones. I don't think Shoeless Joe Jackson knew what was going on. And I feel like this is somebody that might have a really interesting case for the writers. However, this is all connected to Pete Rose. The reason why any of this is happening is because back around April 14th, Manfred and Donald Trump met, and what Trump has been saying is that he wants to get Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame, that Pete Rose deserves it for some reason. And Trump has, back in February, tweeted that he wanted to make this happen. They met on the 14th. They also talked about immigration for players outside of the country. Half of baseball, more than half of baseball is made up by Cubans, Dominicans, Mexicans, Japanese players, like a very international sport. But just to the Pete Rose stuff, the reason he's banned, and I don't know if, maybe you don't know this, the Dowd report done by Major League Baseball's lawyer, John Dowd, found that Rose placed 52 wagers and hundreds of Major League wagers from 1985 to 1987, while Rose played for and managed the Reds. Rose was offered many ways of penance by 2 separate commissioners, both Bud Selig later on in his career, but then also the commissioner at the time, Giamatti. Rose would not admit fault to saying that he gambled on them and never served his punishment to get unbanned. That's why he wasn't unbanned. Pete Rose easily could have been unbanned, easily could have said, I gambled on games, something that a lawyer found out that he was true, something that Pete Rose would later admit in his own book. But as Steve Stone said on the broadcast today, Rose did not want to own up to his gambling, and the earliest that Rose or Jackson can be enshrined would be the summer of 2028 if the writers decide to include Rose. But I have no sympathy for Pete Rose. This is somebody that made their bed, lied in their bed, and happily lied in that bed. Lied, L-I-E-D, meaning lying, and also just like the act of being distruthful. He is such a dog crap human, it's not even funny. He's dead, so he was a dog crap human. This person, again, had many opportunities to say, I was wrong, to own up to the public that I was wrong. I very clearly broke a very big rule of Major League Baseball that as a player and manager, I should not be betting on games, whether, as he wrote in his book, a book that he's selling for profit, that all the profit's going to Pete Rose, that he only bet on games and only bet on games for the Reds to win. Like, come on. You think I'm going to be so naive? John Dowd, somebody who is not a part of this, says that you bet on hundreds of Major League games, said that you bet on 52 Reds games. Like, I just do not understand this. It's less about gambling. I don't care about gambling. I love to gamble. I have several first-round leaders for the PGA Championship. I'm just not a player. I'm not a manager. You can't do that if you're a player or manager. I don't get it. And if you want to apply that to Shoeless Joe Jackson, that's fine. He's been banned from baseball for, 104 years. Just keep him out. I didn't really need Pete Rose to be reinstated, and if it would have meant that Shoeless Joe Jackson never gets enshrined, oh well. I don't know. I don't appreciate it. And Edward's saying he lied until he died. Absolutely. Pete Rose is a scumbag liar.
Well, the sad irony of this is Pete Rose himself said that the only reason why they would ever put him in the Hall of Fame is they would wait until he died so that they can make money off of it. And that clearly seems to be the angle for Major League Baseball, because I personally don't see the value of this. Pete Rose's legacy is always going to be synonymous and tied with cheating and gambling, among other things as well. But he's never going to be the whole Hit King thing that ship sailed decades ago. And you're right. He had every single opportunity for many, many years to go back on that and try and clear his name. But he wanted to sign some baseballs and autographs and probably be known for his infamy more than his accolades on the field.
Absolutely. Because then in 2004, he gets to put out a book being like, oh, Pete Rose finally admits to gambling. And then it's going to just boost up his book sales. And then two, it's, him owning up to gambling. Like, no, you didn't. You still lied about it. You still lied about what you actually did.
100%.
Like, you didn't just bet on the Reds to win games. Like, no, you were a degenerate gambler. That's fine. But you never owned up to it. Yes, Shea Fidel. Pete Rose was very good at hitting a baseball. He's also a dog crap human. If we are just putting people in because of their ability as a player on the field, sure. But he was a dog crap manager. He broke the rules. He shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. Period. If you want to put that to Shoeless Joe, that's fine as well. I don't care. I would rather see Shoeless Joe and Rose out than both of them in. Or Rose in and Shoeless Joe Jackson out. Because that's probably what's going to happen. Is Shoeless actually won't even get in, and then Rose will get in, and then we'll just have to live with the scumbag as a Hall of Famer.
To bring it back around, I randomly watched Field of Dreams the other night.
To bring it back around, Sox win, Reds lose. So
that's true.
Yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. Make sure you use code CHGO365 when you sign up for with our friends over at Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. We will be back on Thursday to wrap up the Reds and White Sox series. I'll talk to you then. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.